Psychosis on the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. This is actually one of those random shooters that I read about in some video game magazines. And it looked boring then, and after playing this thing for about half an hour, it's a lot as boring as I feared it'd be. But this thing seems pretty generic so far. I'm gonna do a little commentary for this one. There were a lot of Me Too shooters out there on the TurboGrafx 16 and the Sega Genesis back in the early 90s, and this is another one of them. This game's conceit seems to be that those two orbiting bits you see above and below the ship. The game has this gimmick where you press the A button, the button 1, button A to rotate those bits 90 degrees. The bits also move relative to your ship's position. So if you move backward to the left, the bits can be shifted to the front. If you move forward to the right, the shifts can be moved above and below you. So you can manipulate the positioning of the bits a little bit, and I'll show you how that works in a moment. It's kind of hard to explain, so I want to see if I can spend a couple of minutes just kind of specifying that, because the way you survive this game is kind of manipulating the positioning of the bits so that you can survive these gauntlets like this. But again, this is not a particularly compelling game. It's not that fast. The graphics are kind of ugly by the standards of the console it's on. And let me see. I got a manual right here for this game. Let's see what it says. I mean, I don't even know what the tone of this game is supposed to be. Like, the game starts out here on a beach with these intestines in a jar, I guess. Let me see what that's about. Your mind wanders into the evil part of its own existence. Soon you will be trapped. Okay, let me start from the beginning here. They say that good and evil live within every mind, and now you know it's true. Your mind wanders into the evil part of its own existence. Soon you will be trapped. The devil Ugar himself will be your keeper. You will not be able to think. You will not be able to cry out. You will lose all of your freedom. Your only option will be to fight. You must battle your way through the devil's world. Ugar will stop at nothing to rule your soul, but then again, perhaps you will stop at nothing to free it. Enter and escape the evil world of your own mind by advancing through all 5 stages of the game. First cause, second cause, third cause, etc. and so forth. Your vehicle is the awesome fighting machine your mind has created, but you must still use every weapon, strategy, tactic, and special item at your disposal. The Devil Ugar and his followers will meet you at every turn. Start the game with 3 vehicles, score as many points as you can. So basically this is a shooter? See, if this were a modern game, it would probably be like a horror game. Like Psychosis would probably be like one of those Amnesia, a machine for pigs like games. Like, you remember that game, Amnesia, a machine for pigs? It's like a first-person horror game, if I recall. That's probably closer to what a Psychosis game would be like today, but since this game came out in the early 90s, it's literally just a scrolling shooter. And not a particularly compelling one either. But you saw that bit a few seconds ago, where as soon as you start the stage, the screen rapid scrolls to the part of the area where you are, and then it starts the game normally. That is really weird. I don't know if that was a creative decision, or if the developers just couldn't find any other way to get you back to the waypoint. I'll show you a bit more about that later. But yeah, this game is not, as you can see, this is supposed to be the attract mode, and I'm not particularly attracted by this game. Looks like a pretty by-the-numbers shooter. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it's a bit more interesting if, maybe it's a bit more interesting if you know a little something about psychology, which I don't. Though I do have family members who are professional psychologists. I'll ask them about that. I'm sure they'll do a good job interpreting your dreams if you're into that kind of thing. So I'm pretty sure none of my dreams involve shooting eyeballs and lasers. Whoops. That was just stupid. I'm already off to a roaring start here in this lucid dream I got going on here. Cue the Queensryche music. Ah, here we go. Okay, we're fine. Yeah, crabs and caterpillars in my dreams. Oh well. I guess this wasn't the kind of dreamscape I was expecting out of a Japanese video game from the early 1990s. Press the T button to get these, well, it's kind of like R-Type, where you just, the first weapon power-up you get gives you the little bits right here. They're invincible. And as you see, as I go backward, they move to the front. Aim for the orange thing. You aim for the orange bit of this giant snake. You press the A button to rotate these around your ship. And now I got the wave power up here, so I should be able to shoot through walls. Are they trying to do biohorror? If you saw from the title screen, this game's from Naxat. The same developers behind that the first two G.I. Joe games in the NES. And that Low G-Man game. And there's a couple other games I don't remember. There we go. So you press the one button to rotate these little bits around the ship. There's actual slowdown in this game. Ugh. That's not cool. Thunder Force, am I right? I mean, this is the thunder weapon. Yeah, so once you can manipulate how these bits orbit your ship, you can probably get a lot more done. Oh, and this fires out at 45-degree angles above and below your ship. Or you can rotate it so that they fire in different directions, so that's cool. So as you move forward, they'll hang out behind your ships. You can get a tighter angle. Huh. It is intriguing. Okay, I don't like these weapons for this particular boss, but we'll make it work. Oh, I thought they're gonna block those projectiles. Yeah, I had the bits pointed above me, but you saw that little screen scroll? Like, there's a really quick scroll to get to this waypoint right here. That was kind of weird. Like I said, I don't know if that's a creative decision or what. Like I said, Japanese psycho horror in the early 1990s. I was expecting more anime. This wasn't what I was expecting. And like in R-Type, if you touch the enemies with these things, you can do more damage to them. Let's move to the left or right. That's cute. So they stay put. Okay, I don't think I want to use this against the boss, though. Whoops. Yeah, I don't think I want to use this B weapon against the boss. Yeah, that was a waste of a continue. Let's restart this game. That was a waste of a continue. Yeah, see? Naxat soft. You know, Taxan. Low G-Man. Kickmaster. Burai Fighter. And then, like I said, those two G.I. Joe games on the NES. Which I've never played. But apparently the second one's really good. Like, it's supposed to be pretty good for what it is. Probably not great, but really expensive, by the way. And published by Capcom here in the United States. I think Taxan published this one themselves. The first one. But the second one was definitely published by... The Atlantis Factor was definitely published by Capcom. Whoop! Found a secret power... I don't know what's going on with that whole TV thing. I don't understand this game's aesthetic, really. Don't understand it at all. looks like a bunch of half-baked ideas. See, like, there's supposed to be stuff here in the background, see? Like, what's the deal with that? Like, it's not particularly distinct. It's just kind of there. Like, there's a serpent over here right there in front of my ship. But I don't know what else that's supposed to be there in the background. Just trying to maintain some visual interest. I mean, there isn't even much parallax scrolling going on in this game. It's just really just visually completely unimpressive. And that's disappointing. Can I get that? You have to wait till it bounced up. had to wait for it to float up a little bit. We made it work. We good? Here we go. Can I move through these purple things? There we go. Like I said, just touch the enemies with these little bits. You can do damage to them. I think I might keep this weapon. I'm moving in the right direction. Yeah, like I said, there's some slowdown here too, so it's not looking good for this game. Yeah, I got him. I got him. So trying to kind of wrangle these two bits requires a bit of finesse. Don't know how I feel about that kind of finesse. Yeah, just all the slowdown. Ugh. You're gonna keep the W weapon here. I'm not gonna pick up the B weapon when it shows up. But apparently these items are hidden, so you have to shoot them, I think, in order for them to appear. Because they appear as like tears in the background. Yeah, there's that B weapon we're not gonna grab. We can fly through these clouds, so they aren't gonna kill us. So this is supposed to be like a dreamscape? Yeah, this game is just so ugly. So many half-baked ideas. Okay, so we're gonna keep this. Okay, so we got a breadcrumb save we can do right here. Why is this game even on the console? This doesn't seem particularly distinct at all. This feels like a really ugly game. Oh, you got me. And there's just so much slowdown going on here. Just, ugh. See, you saw that right there, right? The little rapid scroll the game just did. You're not gonna make you sit through this. This isn't R-Type. This isn't a game I want to play a bunch. So yeah, we got a not particularly compelling shooter, unfortunately. Got him. Guess I'm glad I kept this weapon. He's gesturing at me. I don't know how I feel about that. So we'll end the video after this bit right here, but you know, this is not a particularly compelling game. Like I said, this is the kind of Me Too shooter I was afraid was just kind of infesting the console. So in a lot of ways, this is representative of your typical shooter, I think, on the console. Wasn't there a game called? Yeah, I think it was a game called Dead Moon. That was just that looked even uglier than this game. Had a lot of parallax scrolling though. But if you want to know why the TurboGrafx 16 failed, what he ended up getting, there are a lot of games that came out on the US side of things that look like this. Just mostly unremarkable shooters. They did release some games that seemed interesting, like Gates of Thunder and Lords of Thunder, and I think Wings of Thunder also came out on this console, or that might have come out on the Sega CD. I forget. But why, I mean, obviously they released this game because you don't have to waste any money trying to localize it. I mean, there are some like Salamander was a game that didn't need any localization at all. They just didn't release it over here. I mean, it was actually a better version of Life Force. Give me that. I don't think my weapon's powered up at all. I got an extra one of these, and I don't think it changed anything. I'll take that. I don't know what that gave me. I think it gave me a shield. Probably just stay high, see what happens. Okay, what's going on here? Got it. Okay, so I had to shoot the face. I had to shoot the face enough for it to switch faces 5 times. So I guess that's why it blew up. Heads up, here comes another one. Careful! Okay, I got it. I was worried I might have to rotate these things. Here comes another batch. Whoops! Hit the bottom. I hit the bottom. I hit the wall. See, I don't know what the game's doing. See, I don't know what the game's doing with this whole fast forward thing and the whole static TV thing. I just don't know. Are they trying to do like a Videodrome thing? Like that, what's that guy's name? The Canadian guy who did Videodrome. What was his name? Cronenberg. Are they trying to do like a Cronenberg thing? Is that what's going on here? Any Cronenberg fans in the audience here? Gonna help me out with this? But yeah, this thing is not a particularly exciting shooter, I'm afraid. You have to table this one as soon as we're done with this video. Yeah, this game has about as much slowdown as your typical Super NES game, unfortunately. Ah, got me. Should have dodged it. Cause remember, I can rotate my what you call it? I can rotate my little bits. Ah, got me. I genuinely think that this game was localized because they didn't have to waste any time localizing it. They just said we don't have to translate anything. It's just yeah, maybe that was the problem. They didn't invest the time in terms of, getting a localized. I mean, Working Designs did that. Working Designs has several games on here. They got I know they have Nectaris Military Madness on here. And I want to say they have what was that other game they got on here? I don't think it was Newtopia. Yeah, the Parasol Stars. The Story of Bubble Bobble, that's on here. I have to read the manual for that, because that game has that's a puzzle action game that has a few technical elements I want to look at. Because you can play the game kind of like, Bubble Bobble or Snow Brothers, but there are a few techniques I want to look into so that I can play the game at least competently before I would do some commentary on it. Should be seeing a Parasol Stars video a bit later. I want to say Vast Steel is not on here. Yeah, but Victor Ireland and the Working Designs folks did several TurboGrafx games and several CD games. But yeah, I mean, games like this were not localized, really. They didn't require much localization, so that's probably why they released it over here. It's such a thoroughly unremarkable game. I am kind of disturbed that Konami didn't release Salamander, I guess. I guess they could have gotten around it, because I don't know if Nintendo was forcing them to not release any games on any other... I was wondering if Nintendo was forcing them not to re-release any games on any other consoles. At least not in America, anyway. Because I don't know if you guys remember the whole Sunsoft Batman thing. They made a Mega Drive game that Nintendo apparently wouldn't allow them to release it here in the United States for several years. So obviously we got the NES Batman game most people remember from back in the day. But the Genesis Mega Drive game wasn't available. I mean, people knew. I mean, people even back then, people like in the game magazines were telling people, yeah, there's a Batman game on the Genesis from the same company that made the NES game, and people wanted to know, why can't we play it? I mean, Batman's huge. I mean, remember, when Batman came out, it was doing Avengers-like business. it was making that Black Panther money. But, and of course, the NES game was reasonably popular. But the complaint, or at least the concern, was that, they had this Mega Drive game that was over in Japan that people in America wanted to see what the big deal was about. We finally got it, but it was delayed by at least a year, I want to say. I mean, apparently the game wasn't that good either, so. But yeah, I haven't played the Batman games, at least not the Mega Drive games. I played a tiny bit of the Sega CD game, but that was on an emulator, so I'm not going to talk about that. But I still own the CD-ROM, because I kind of like the Spencer Nielsen soundtrack. As hilariously inappropriate as it probably is. It sounds like a bunch of demo music he just repurposed for the CD-ROM because they didn't allow him to. They couldn't get the rights to the Danny Elfman soundtracks. They said, I guess they probably told Spencer, "Hey, do you have any demo tracks we can use?" Just slap them on. Because I mean, there's no Batman music in that Batman Returns Sega CD game, but there's some pretty good Spencer Nielsen music that's probably more appropriate for another kind of game. But it works.